Schechter is a special place because of all the friends that I have.
You walk in the hallway and you're immediately saying hi to 15 people.
I'm almost friends with the entire high school.
We all have such a strong bond that you can't really find anywhere else.
The atmosphere in Schechter is really something that is unmatched.
Schechter is a special place because of the people.
I'm excited for a lot of classes I have.
My teachers are all very fun.
I know I can always go to any of my teachers if I need help.
Communication is so easy here.
There will always be somebody who is looking out for you.
I've always been told that college is easier than Schechter.
They're like the best teachers I've ever had.
Always kids smiling and having good times at school.
Everyone just loves being here.
This year, we are honoring the Eshet Chayil, the woman of valor, whose worth is far greater than gems. By and large, the work done here is done by a lot of women, and those are the women who really step up for Schechter. Some are philanthropists, some are lay leaders, some actually work for us as part of our professional staff, and we really wanted to take this opportunity to recognize them, and by extension, to recognize all the many women who do so much for this school.
What comes to mind when I think of a woman of valor is somebody who is strong.
Women who, no matter whatever the hard times were, they still kind of persevered.
When I think of a woman of valor, I usually think of my grandma.
I think of people who are really like mothers to me. I think my mom is the woman of valor because she always puts her kids before herself.
My mom is the first person that comes to mind because she's really strong.
I think of my mom because she's one of the strongest women I know.
She likes to spoil me. I'm her favorite child.
She makes us breakfast. She buys us toys.
She gives me shelter. She loves me.
To me, a woman of valor is someone who helps out their community, who gives their all into making their community or wherever they work or just the world in general a better place.
I would consider the women of Schechter women of valor.
Because they're teaching every woman and girl around them to step up and stand up for what they think is true, just like them.
They always try and help our community, and they work really hard.
They help make the community that we love.
My mom teaches 5th and 4th grade here. My mom helps us raise money.
She sometimes helps out on the PA.
All of the women at Schechter are women of valor, whether they're the parents or the staff or the administration.
They give up so much of their time and so much of their dedication.
Everyone's always making sure that all the students and everyone in the school has the best opportunities they can have.
The idea for this gala came from Eileen Borer, who at the time when we first discussed it was our Director of Institutional Advancement. Little did she realize I thought it was a phenomenal idea and that I planned to honor her as one of our women of valor.
The notion that a good life is one of service, which means it's not always easy, but it makes life worth living.
I was a kindergarten and nursery school teacher. I was teaching 4-year-olds at Lake Success Jewish Center. I left teaching 25 years ago and kind of got led by leadership from one Jewish organization to another.
I've known Eileen for about 25 years. She was, at the time, a professional at UJA Federation. She worked so hard to support our work. She was always the little voice in my ear telling me what to do.
My mom is not a person who believes in shortcuts. She ascribes to the philosophy that anything worth doing is worth doing right.
I was at Schechter for 14 and a half years.
I've known Eileen probably for about 15 years at this point. I always like to describe Eileen as the ultimate air traffic controller of Schechter.
She's a master of interpersonal relations. She was able to kind of bridge that gap between all the various different aspects of the school that we needed from her, and yet was always able to literally roll up her sleeves and do the hard work.
She doesn't just use her voice, she acts out of just intent. She's able to balance the needs of others with her own needs.
She is diplomatic, she is kind, she is caring, she's polite to everybody.
At her core, I think it is the heart of a bubby, the heart of a parent, a grandparent, someone who really cares about the well-being of the whole community.
Working so hard for what you love, whether it's at work or for her family, and she takes such good care of us.
We love you, Bobby.
For one to benefit, one doesn't suffer. And I think that really is what I think of when I think of a woman of valor and then I think of Eileen.
You know, I've tried to make a point wherever I was professionally in my life to not disconnect from those people and to make sure that I left behind, you know, what we say a Shem Tov. I hope I've done that at Schechter because the students and the faculty and staff will always really mean a great deal to me.
I learned from you about life and happiness and things like that. So.
Gives me too much credit.
When you talk about a true woman of valor, one that does not need the accolades, but one that knows what needs to happen, and finding the balance between the two, this is Andrea Bitan.
So much of what's important about Schechter is really who we are in the community, and Andrea understands that in her neshama, in her core.
I want to be involved. I want to be part of my kids' school, and I want to help give back to Schechter.
She's a role model because she does things that other people don't always do, and she steps up and takes the lead.
I was asked to be a part of the Parent Association. There was a need, and I was able to fill it, and I became involved and haven't quite stopped yet.
She took over the PA at a really pivotal time in the school's history, and she turned around the organization. And the school is different because of her and because of what she accomplished through the PA.
Who else would do it if my mom did not?
And it's being done with a smile at all times and very quietly.
She's as comfortable being up in front of a room as she is serving coffee or making copies or setting tables, schlepping tables.
Our kids have been here every summer preparing the school, whichever campus we're at, for the start of school.
Andrea leads by example. It became infectious to show up for Schechter. Part of the reason why I wanted to become a class rep, to get part of the action.
And the energy that she brings into what she does.
I used to go with her to deliver Galas.
Andrea is very thoughtful and generous, and she's a very dear friend of mine because I know I can trust her.
She literally is part of the fabric of the school.
Not just herself or her family, but to help other people in the school too.
It's a gift that we're giving them to learn how to be part of a community.
I grew up in Germany as the first of 5 children. My parents were Holocaust survivors. My father was in several camps. Both became very successful. They worked very hard, which was difficult because living amongst the Germans, the perpetrators, till today I cannot imagine how difficult it was for them. The tradition and the values, the Jewish values, that was the most important part for both of them.
My grandfather was very involved in Jewish causes, the importance of Judaism in general and the continuation of Jews and celebrating everything that is Jewish. He instilled that in my mom and her siblings.
It was always very important for my children, my grandchildren, to have a Jewish education.
So the German family is a true midor ledor. Ari, an alum of our school, graduated 8th grade. Dalia brought with her the same love to Schechter that Ari is and was part of.
We've been at the school for a long time. It's really something that we try to focus on. People value that Schechter education, that Schechter community, and what it does for their children.
To see Dalia's mom is on the same journey with them is a true testimony to whom the Lisker German family is.
She comes to the events, she shows up.
It was really special to me to be able to say that my Oma would always come, no matter what.
She always has pictures on her phone that she shows her friends to, show them about where the kids are going.
And she's always very considerate, and she's always interested to
talk to you and learn about you.
One of the very first kids I met was actually Josh German. When he was a little pisher in the lower school, he came up to me out of nowhere, he knew who I was, and he told me that he thought that kids needed more time between classes to get from place to place. And he was already being a leader. And I think he learned that from his mom and from his dad and from his grandma.
Esther's involved in a number of Jewish organizations aside from schools.
When she helps somebody, or she gives somebody, or she does something for a cause, she does it with all her power.
My mom has exemplified for me, and I've tried to emulate the same, is that when you're asked to do something, you kind of step up and do it.
Goes to show that we're being raised the right way, and we have these great role models in front of us.
I hope I'm not going to start crying now. I do it for them. But I must say, I enjoy it too.
This multi-generational involvement that we have is really what characterizes the community.
But I think on Friday nights, if I close my eyes, I can always see my mother in front of lighting Shabbos candles.
The values that Charlotte carries on today, that she and her husband Philip started all those years ago, are very, very evident in everything we see here at Schechter.
She was there for every occasion for all 3 grandchildren, took tremendous pride in their Schechter experience.
I think she's the best. She saw us all grow up at Schechter.
I did that for my children as well when they were in elementary school. I helped out where I could, even though I was working.
Going to a Jewish day school was obviously very important to my parents. At one point, I think my parents were working 5 jobs between the 2 of them, so that me and my sister could attend Jewish day schools.
She was always at our place. She was always coming to school, asking us what we learned, encouraging us to ask questions, learn more.
They were so happy that the kids were going there. It meant a lot to them.
Yeah, and then we couldn't stop them from coming.
Ira's mom did not miss even one ceremony or one event while the 3 kids, the Balsam kids, were at Schechter.
But one of the proudest moments I have was actually being introduced as the president of Schechter by my mother. I thought that was just a very special, special day.
Yeah, my Savta is always the person that I call on my long walks from work to class. She's always there when I need someone to talk to.
Charlotte is here philanthropically, she is here in person, she is here for all the programming, and she makes sure her friends know that she's here. She brings other people along with her.
Charlotte may be one of the most rah-rah grandmother Schechter cheerleaders you could ever hope to meet.
There's no better messenger for Schechter than my mom.
She plays Jewish geography.
Everywhere she goes.
I don't know if my ENT is going to see this, but I kind of convinced him to send his children to Schechter as well.
The biggest thing I've learned from my Savta is kind of how to be a good listener and how to be a compassionate person.
Or I can't imagine a life where my kids did not go to a Jewish day school and build that strong Jewish foundation.
I love you.
I love you more.
Thank you for being there for me throughout all of Schechter.
We were so happy that our grandchildren were in Schechter.
Charlotte is absolutely Eishes Chaya. She's a good role model for me, my kids. I'm very proud that she's being honored. She deserves it.
My mother and Gloria Kelly went to high school together, and our families have kind of been intertwined for so many years.
Charlotte and I were in junior high school together. We know each other ever since. And even Ira was in school with my daughters.
We grew up together in Brooklyn. We still talk every now and then, but it's just fantastic that both my mother and Gloria, who've been friends for as long as I can remember, are just being honored together.
I love Judaism and I love Israel. And I feel everybody should respect one another. They don't have to agree with one another, but at least respect one another.
Gloria is like one of a kind. I'll call her a Yiddish mame to all of us.
I lived in Borough Park. I grew up in Borough Park. I said to my husband when we were getting married, we're going to have a kosher home. He said, really? I said, yeah, really. And then when the kids were ready for school, I said to him that I think they should go to yeshiva and learn what we don't know. And he agreed right away.
She's there for everyone, and she's there for values, for the right causes. Her mind works children, Everything is from the children up.
A big part of my career in Jewish education has had to do with Jewish special education. And Gloria and her late husband founded Camp Kaylee, which is a camp that provides opportunities for children with disabilities as well as those who don't have disability.
Special needs children in the same bunk with mainstream children. And the important thing is the mainstream children, we say, come back even more because they learn from the special needs.
I look up to her, I listen to her, I learn from her, and I watch her.
Every Shabbos, I go out to West Hampton Beach. We have 2 synagogues there. And I call our synagogue an Orthodox synagogue with an eclectic community, but everybody respects one another.
Gloria and Mr. Kaylee, alav shalom, they were the highlight of the shul. Not only a wonderful person, but her heart. She has a big heart for everyone.
The children are the future. I can't say it more clearly than that.
Schechter's preparing me really well for the future.
Schechter's definitely preparing me for the future.
I 100% think that Schechter is preparing me for the future.
The drive that Schechter offers really prepares you for college.
Schechter has taught me a very nice way to think and approach life.
There's a lot of things that Schechter teaches that help me with a lot of the stuff in my everyday life.
Schechter really prepares people for following the right path in life.
The Solomon Schechter School of Long Island needs to be here.
Everybody in that building is making sure that every child has a really special experience.
Life brings a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, and Schechter tries to ease those challenges.
They support us along the way and they help us wherever we need. Everyone who has worked in the school has not only done it just for a little time, they've dedicated their lives to it.
It's people who believe in Judaism and the next generation of Jews.
One of the most important factors for Jewish continuity.
To be part of it, and it's not only a privilege, it's an honor.
It is important to show up for Schechter because this is our home away from home.
I show up for Schechter.
I show up for Schechter.
I show up for Schechter. I show up for Schechter. I show up for Schechter.
On behalf of the board, we know that the school's in good hands. Just looking forward to continue working for the school.